Hello, fellow human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo / ChoosingBeggar videos. So, what is your favorite book? Fiction or non-fiction? Or you just hate reading in general and would rather to just watch Netflix instead? The first story by you/abiz. CB was not happy with the books I gave her, demanded preferential treatment at, and wanted to speak with the manager at a volunteer-organized event. Today, I encountered my very first CB in the wild. Backstory? It's relevant. I love reading. I subscribe to 5 different book clubs, meaning every month, I get at least 5 new books in the mail. And I typically buy another 4 to 5 books per month. That means my shelves are always full, and whenever someone, friend, family, friend of a friend, etc. wants a book, I'm happy to lend, or if I read it and don't plan on keeping on to read it again, I just gave them the book. A few months ago, a lady rang the doorbell. She said she was a teacher at a local public school and she was going door to door to see if people could donate some books to their library. This is the Brazilian countryside and public schools are very underfunded. I said, of course! Browsed my shelves, picked dozens of books appropriate for kids or teenagers and gave it to her. She thanked me and I said she could stop by anytime. If I had something, I'd be happy to donate. She proceeded to stop by every month. I always had something to donate, so she never left empty-handed. Last month, when they came, I was in the middle of an audio conference for work, so I just told her to come in and asked her to wait for a bit. Finished my call and went to the living room where I had a little pile of books waiting for her. She was standing in there browsing the shelves. I put the books in a bag and I gave it to her. She thanked me and left. So far so good. On to the CB episode. Yesterday, a friend called me and said that there was this book market happening at a local mall. It was a free event organized by a couple of volunteers. Essentially, if you had any books to donate, you could just drop by and donate. If you wanted any books, you could browse and take what you wanted. And no need to donate a book to take one. I thought it would be a nice opportunity to free some shelf space and contribute to the community. So, I went and did a full inspect of my bookshelves to separate everything I could donate. At the end of my inspection, I had over 60 books to donate, including a full Harry Potter set I had forgotten about and ended up hidden behind a row of other books. This morning, we went to the market. There were books everywhere and people browsing around and just one poor volunteer trying to keep the piles of books organized, answer questions, provide recommendation, and receive new donations, etc. My friend and I had the morning off, so we offered to help. I was just finishing organizing a section of books and adding the ones I had taken to the market to the collection when a guy approached with his sons. His son got super excited about the Harry Potter set. He approached me and asked me how much it was. I told him it was for free and he could just take it. He thanked me and turned around to leave. And that is when I saw the teacher, that same lady I had been donating books to, was standing right behind him. I didn't even have the time to say hello and she exploded in full CB mode. She started yelling at me, asking why I didn't save those books for her students, that she was in my house and she didn't even see that set, that I knew she taught teenagers so I should have been considerate of her students, and blah blah blah. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I had been giving this lady books for months. Faced with my silence, she went, "Well, what are you going to do about it? Now, you need to get a new set so I can have it for my students." Still unable to believe what was happening, my brain came up with 3 explanations. She was drunk, she was high, that was actually her evil twin sister. And the obvious conclusion was, this isn't a conversation worth having. So I just turned my back to her and continued organizing the books in my section of the market. CB tapped me on the shoulder and yelled, "Did you hear me?" To which I replied, "I did. That set has already been taken. Look around. If you find something you like, you're welcome to take it. If not, just leave." And that's when she demanded to speak with the manager. And not only that, but every time I or any other 2 volunteers try to open our mouths to explain there is no manager, she would interrupt us and bark, "Manager, now!" Finally, a mom with 2 little girls got fed up and called mall security. Security guard removed her from the premises. Now here I am waiting for her to knock at my door again. I have the Little Book of Gratitude by Robert A. Emmons set aside for her, smiley face. TLDR, CB teacher made a scenes over donated set of Harry Potter books at a local volunteer event because giving her books for her students every month wasn't enough. I should have known better than to give that set of Harry Potter books to someone else. I should have saved it for her. And now I have to buy a new set to give it to her for her students. When I refused to do so, she wanted to speak with the manager of a volunteering event. Hilarious! Well, that escalated quickly from being a kind, in-need teacher to demanding an entire set of books at an event that you don't even control. We have here the second story written by u/SN Landlord. Lady wanted us to pay her back for free tickets. Okay, so first a little backstory about my college job. I work in the ticket program, the one meant for the arts, concerts, theater, and sometimes comedians and kids' TV show performances. One of the major types of musical artists that like to perform at my college in our huge venue are rappers. Back during this incident, Tyga was scheduled to perform at our venue. Due to some issues with production, Tyga cancelled his tour location at our venue, meaning people who purchased the tickets to see him would get a refund from the company they bought them from. Unless they were scalped, we'll probably mention a scalping incident later in this community. Now, to the day when the concert was supposed to happen. We were busy with calls of people asking if it was truly cancelled, and we provide information on who they'd get their refund from. I can't remember who did it, our ticket program or the concert coordinators for Tyga. But overall, people were happy for the info we gave them. Now, fast forward about an hour and a half into my shift, a lady ends up calling and it's my turn to pick up. Coworker and I would juggle calls. She asked like everyone else if Tyga was cancelled, and I told her yes, and that her ticket would get refunded. But here's the part where I got caught off guard. She got her tickets for free. I guess it was kinda my fault for saying that she would get a refund for her ticket. But after a moment talking to her, she seemed to understand that her ticket wouldn't be refunded. She was asking to be refunded for her babysitter for the night of Tyga's concert and for her drive to the radio station where she won the tickets from, along with the gas money there and back. At this point, I'm kinda peeved, and I know I can't bite back at a customer, so I asked her to stay online and I would transfer her to the manager, my boss. I let him know of what she was asking, and he looked annoyed but still accepted to talk to her. Now, due to how busy he is with work for other shows coming up, he puts her on speakerphone so me, my coworker, and the athletics ticket office employees can hear the conversation. Here's the conversation that ensued between CB and my boss, not word by word as it's been months, but basically the rundown. CB: So, your employee says refund are coming to people and I want a refund. Boss: Alright, I can refund your ticket. What is your order number? Note he's acting oblivious to get a rundown from her to get confirmation on what she wants a refund for. CB: I didn't buy the ticket. Boss: So you didn't purchase a ticket? CB: I want it from the radio station. Boss: Oh, then I'm sorry, but I cannot give you a refund. CB: Why not? Boss: Well, it's our policy, plus university's names tickets office does not give out refunds. We do some, but it's for more severe issues like customer purchasing a ticket for a show they didn't mean to. CB: But I need to be refunded. My daughter had to babysit when I went to pick up the tickets I won. Plus, that babysitter was going to babysit her tonight. Gas was also expensive as it took me an hour and a half to pick up the free tickets. Boss: Again, I cannot give you a refund. CB now getting pissed off. Is there a problem? Boss: Nope. CB: Then why can't I have my refund? Boss: You won the tickets, ma'am. I cannot refund you for your time to go get them. CB: Seriously, what is wrong with you? My babysitter was expensive. I need a refund. Boss: I cannot give you a refund for your financial choice of your decision. CB: We hear a huff from her. Well then, I hope you go suck a big fat hairy butthole. At this point, my coworker and I were enjoying the bit of drama and our jaws dropped. The men working athletics were also listening in and had the same expression. Boss: That is very kind of you to say. He's acting so sickening sweet, he's enjoying dealing with his CB. CB: Who is your boss? Boss: His name is XXX. You can gladly call him if you like. CB: I'll call him and we'll have you fired. Boss: Have a good day. She then hangs up. Thing is, I've never met my boss until recently. His phone number to his office isn't available on the website, only in our books in the ticket offices across campus. So this lady called the office where we all in again, thinking it would be my boss that would pick up. I recognize the number and tell my coworker not to pick it up as it's the crazy CB lady. Our boss answers with his name. The CB hangs up. We sadly didn't hear her that time as our boss picked up the phone that time instead of putting her on speaker. We all had a good laugh afterward and questioned the lady's sanity. Seriously, who asked for a refund on tickets you won? It was her choice to use her gas and hire a babysitter. We should not pay her back for her financial choices and time to get her free opportunity to see Tyga in concert. Well, my guess is that she probably called the radio station next. Yikes! Next up, with the third story shared by /TJ Guys. Choosing Beggar calls the cops when we wouldn't return her hair straightener cause we were going out of business. Buckle up guys, this is a pretty wild one. So this happened a while ago when I lived in Hawaii. Some backstory, I work as a receptionist at a hair salon in the biggest mall on Oahu, and monthly rent on the store was about $8K. So eventually the company just kinda folded and we had going out of business sale. On the very last day, we had 2 workers, the manager and the regional manager in the store to help. Everyone who came in to buy got told we were closing, all the sales were final, and they got the receipt stamped with a big red "No returns, all sales final" stamped. So enter the choosing beggar. Cass, me. M equals to regional manager. CB equals to choosing beggars. RP, random person the CB dragged into this. HPD, the police officers. So CB wanders into the store and kinda looks around a little, makes a couple of loops around. It wasn't a big store. Like there were maybe size big shelves and the receptionist's desk. And then kinda wanders aimlessly to the back where the M is sorting through the product to make more markdowns. CB asks to look around at the flat irons and curlers. So, M tells her that she's happy to help, she'll even take a few out of the boxes and let her test them. Since we're going out of business and there won't be any returns, so she wants to make sure she has the exact thing she wants. Now, I'm checking other people out about 5 feet away, I can hear and see them. M spends a good 30 to 40 minutes and repeatedly tells her that there will be no returns. She must have felt that this lady was going to cause trouble. Because when CB finally picked a straightener out, M checked her out herself but had me standing by to watch. So while she was doing the transaction, M tells CB one more time that this sale is final. We won't accept any returns and we're going out of business. CB agreed. M finishes the transaction, takes the receipt and stamps it with "Final sale, no returns accepted" and circles it. CB walks out of the store and apparently happy. Fast forward about to an hour later, and RP wanders in and starts asking me about the sale and if it really is no returns. Now, I'd been working at this mall for a little and I recognized this woman. She worked at one of the small mobile kiosks that sold overpriced ceramic hair straighteners. So, I wondered why she was in here asking about hair straighteners when she suddenly goes, "Well, I have a friend who just bought a straightener and she's not very happy with it and wants to return it." I explained again that we couldn't accept returns, that the store would literally be closed the next day and we're going out of business. RP looked a bit deflated and goes, "Well, she's not really my friend. I work at this kiosk and she came by and said you guys were being really mean and wouldn't let her return the straightener." So at this point, M heard this and realized that it was CB she was talking about and comes over, explained that she spent nearly an hour helping this woman and told her several times it was final sale. So RP wanders out, and about 15 minutes later, CB wanders back in. "CB, I want to return this straightener." M, "I'm sorry, but as I told you before, all sales are final today." "CB, I just bought it today, I still have the receipt." Here she flashes the receipt with the final sale stamped on it. "So you should be able to return it." M, "No, I'm sorry, but I cannot do any returns today. All sales are final and it clearly says so on your receipt." CB, "No, that is not fair. You have to return it. That is the law. On the back of the receipt, it says I have 30 days for a full refund." They go back and forth for a minute or two, and then CB huffs out of our store and stands outside and makes a phone call. The M and I think nothing of it until 2 HPD officers shows up, and CB start gesturing angrily toward us. HPD Gus must have immediately realized what had happened, since she showed them the straightener and receipt, but they came in to talk to the M anyways. At this point, M is so angry and frustrated. M explained the situation and HBD just shook their heads and went back outside. I left work shortly after that, but they were still outside with HBD lecturing her about calling the police over a hair straightener. TLDR, woman comes in on our closing day. Manager spends nearly an hour helping her to pick out a straightener and tells her multiple times it's final sale. Woman comes back hours later demanding to return the straightener and then called the cops on us when the manager wouldn't refund her money. Ugh, I'm lost for words, my brain hurts. Like, what is wrong with that woman's logic? Moving on to the fourth story shared by /Genocide Purple. My first encounter with a literal choosing beggar. Still very excited with this. Okay, it's my very first post on this subreddit and this happened just a while ago and I'm still very excited and don't speak English very well, sorry about that, and if lucky it gets to Lubal's hand, relax, it's single mother free. Okay, so I was eating my dinner and heard a clap in my door. Where I live is a very common some beggars who knock on our doors asking for something. Normally, they're good ones, some of them are even friendly and polite. But that one was a huge exception and what happened comes next. CB, after maybe 30 seconds clapping hands. Hello, would you have some food you could give away? Maybe some money? 10 cents would already be great. With the most typical Karen voice and a big fake smile. Me, sure, just wait a second. Here. I say handing 6 packages of cuckoos. It's very common where I live to buy at least some package of cuckoos, it's typical. CB, only that? Me, what? CB, I'm starving here, brat. I need something more than just cuckoos. Believe me when I say this thing stuffs your tummy more than a good plate of rice. Me, already knowing what I'm dealing with? Oh god, I'm so sorry ma'am. I'll get you some money for you though. CB, thanks. With a shining smile. Me, come back and hand her a 10-cent coin. CB, are you joking? Me, you said 10 cents would already be wonderful, didn't you? CB, you spoiled brat, take this. I don't need that penny from a damned brat. She says that, throwing the coin. Me, would you mind give me back my couscous? CB, you ducking brat. She huffs and puffs and going away and cursing. I know, it's not a big story with a big plot, but man, it's my very first choosing beggar story and I'm still laughing my butt off because of that, so I had to post it. Well, this is a first. A person who's excited to meet a real-life choosing beggar after reading so many stories. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.